Folks, welcome back to the show where it's not about last week's review. It's not about next month's release. It's about this week's episode. And it is about what's Trainwreck watching. The Last of Us is back on Max after what feels like a 2-year hiatus. Joel and Ellie have rejoined us in Jackson, Wyoming. Did I get that right, Micah?
Yep.
Jackson, out there. Wyoming.
Way
I'm not gonna lie.
There.
The first thing I thought, and I hate that this happened in my mind, was Kanye. I was like, wasn't this where he like retreated out to when he was like going through the tough times? And now he gets to go there.
Shows you how far out they are.
Seriously, they are out in the neighborhood. So T-Lou is back. Was awesome to get back on our TVs. Joel, Ellie, the infected, the politics of a post-apocalyptic world. But folks, make sure you're not living in a post-apocalyptic world. We know that the infected move fast, but so does our sponsor, Cellino Plumbing and HVAC. When your home needs help, you need a team that moves just as quickly. From emergency plumbing repairs to HVAC tune-ups, Cellino is always ready. No waiting, no hassle, just fast, reliable service from a team you can trust. Call 68-FLUSH today. But yeah, there's no number to dial in the post-apocalyptic world, Micah. Everyone has to deal with Joel and his moodiness, and we're seeing some constant gray there. What was your favorite part of T-Lou being back? A lot to digest in this first episode.
Yeah, it felt like they had to like reintroduce a new TV show, honestly, which is kind of what they had to do, which is, don't correct me if I'm wrong. The end of season 1's the end of the game 1. If we're going
that's the impression I'm under.
Okay.
Because it essentially ends with the lie, the reiteration of the lie from Joel to Ellie that again. I mean, I don't know how big of a deal lying or even murdering a bunch of people in a hospital is in this post-apocalyptic world. It seems like everyone's out for everyone, Micah.
Yeah, where people's morality lies it's a very gray area. So people get it. We'll get into that later on. There's a lot of questions about that within this episode, but just the structure of the episode, big picture wise, it felt like you were starting a new video game. It's because you kind of were. Like there was a lot of setup, a lot of introduction into some new characters. It's obviously a familiar setting, but it's a brand new setting. And honestly, even the characters, Joel and even the characters we've been with and we've seen around. It feels like, Ellie still, they feel like they've changed a lot too in the 5 years. And we haven't filled in the gaps enough in this episode of what exactly happened that changed them so much. But it feels like we're meeting new characters, even with the familiar faces too. So it was a lot of like, it was a different experience than just like a season 2 of a show, because I felt like we were like getting reintroduced in a new way to get people. But we're going to learn about the decisions that have kind of gotten us to this point. And we know enough of how they got there. Like you said, the decision that he made, they reiterated it at the end.
I guess that's going to be all.
One. It's going to be like it's going to be the impetus. Yeah, that's what we're working with here. So
for sure. So we're in the Wyoming. So the big thing is that they began with the Fireflies kind of finding the remnants of Joel's rampage to get Ellie out and everything. By the way, shout out everybody on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Facebook as well. But they show Abby, who I guess is a prominent member of the Fireflies. They're saying they had to go to Isaac in Seattle. So they used the 5 years later. They looped that in the front to kind of, because they need both those storylines to go on. That was outside the game, right? I guess if you're picking up the game 2, like it's 5 years later when they're in Wyoming, I'm assuming. But we pick up things there. Ellie is getting the training. What'd you think of this training scene? By the way, apparently, like the adaptation of this is almost directly from the game. I'm going to pull up some clips here in a second, but you're going to see some things that are almost 1-for-1 shots.
No shit. It was. I mean, like I said, it was interesting to see where they were kind of like putting their priorities, right? Like we know that a lot of stuff has shaped them into the people that they are. Like Ellie with the training and just, Ellie's always had a little spark. She's always had a little bit of something to her, and Joel's kind of like he kind of unwillingly has had the spark. Like he picked it selectively when he needed to. And he kind of falls like he feels like he could be in like a city clerk's office or something. Like that's what he was built for. Like Joel was built for the 9 to 5, apparently. That's what he seems like he was ready to do. Like, and I don't know if he actually likes that or if he's like deciding it, in this moment, that's what he feels like he needs to do. But it seems like he was ready for it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like when we met Joel at the beginning of season 1, this was a dark man who had seen some dark things. And I think when you have to, then go to a contracting job or a foreman job, I mean, that's pretty easy, right? Like you're kind of built for that. You're ready to rock and roll. And that was what I saw from Joel last night for sure. Definitely ready to rock and roll. I'm sorry, I got to get my audio off here. But yeah, kind of grumpy, kind of a dark mood. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this was a season tone setter, but the Joel, like, I don't know. Maybe that's what 5 years in Jackson, Wyoming does to someone. But it just felt like this was a little bit more grumpier, a little bit less wholesome Joel. When we left off with Joel, he was so thankful that he had found Ellie and he would do anything for her. And he had she had given him a new reason to live. That's what he literally said at the end of last season. Now we're 5 years later, and it seems like this lie. Now, there's also some debate online on whether she already knows the lie.
I've seen that.
Do you think that she's aware? Because you can't spell Ellie without lie. Do you think Ellie's aware?
I think she has to be at this point if everybody else is aware. Or like I feel like everybody else kind of like. I feel like it was like not like an open thing, but an open secret. That like Joel did this. It was a bad moment. But he's helping us now. It was a bad. I mean, was it a bad moment? I don't know, but I feel like they're kind of like, we need Joel, so we'll put this aside.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Looking from the outside and being like, yeah, we like had a potential solution, and like one girl had to die, but then this guy like murderously like rampaged like 20 people and like just took her to like go live in Wyoming. I mean, that does seem pretty selfish if you do have the potential solution. Of course, again, who knows what's going to happen in a post-apocalyptic world. Well, we know one thing. The Fireflies are coming. We saw that at the end of the episode. I don't know why I clicked that so early. Probably shouldn't have done that. Got to talk about spoiler surfing, though, for this before we get into the rest of the episode, Micah. Because since this has all occurred, I do feel like every time I'm looking something up or any details, I could be it's like House of the Dragon-esque, because House of the Dragon, like some people know the broad strokes of what happens to certain characters. But I mean, I'm a little nervous. It's tough to research about this show in the modern day.
Yeah, I stick to very official articles for this reason, exactly on these shows. Like I'm doing like the very like manicured recap, episode 1 recaps to refresh myself, because I get scared of this. I know this lore is all out here, and I don't know anything that's happening in this. Like somebody like, there are people that I know who haven't even played these games who know the ending of this game and know the show. They're like watching it along, like knowing what's coming. I'm like, I would not prefer that. So it is tough. I don't know how you do it, because I know you're out here like looking for every little reference and thing you can get, and I'm sure that it's like a minefield out there with a video game too. Like with how much they can do.
Game of Thrones raised me though, and I was looking up stuff from Game of Thrones season 2 on, and that lore was like out there forever. Like
That's
like
true.
The first time I watched the Robb Stark King in the North scene, they're like, the first YouTube comment was like, yeah, we'll get ready for next season when he betrays him and like kills his whole like family. It's like, oh no. But yeah, amazing 1-for-1 adaptation. It looks like over here
amazing.
from I mean, like this is crazy.
And some of that's just inevitable, right? Like I knew about you're right. Like I knew about the Red Wedding before the Red Wedding happened. Like I knew, like when I saw that episode was coming, it was like, oh shit, like this is gonna be crazy. So there are things that you just can't avoid, and I'm sure there will be things with this show that you can't avoid. I'm sure there's things I've seen already that I haven't even put it together yet. I've probably known, but it's hard out here, especially with a video game. Though I feel like, because a video game, like so easy to just have those clips out there, people just streaming and stuff like that, like. People who just experience themselves, they feel like it's their own story. So they're really like, it's hard, man. I've seen a lot of like, even before this season came out, a lot more chatter about this season, about people being very particular when it comes to things.
Well, apparently there's a lot of niches. There's a lot of niches in this season apparently, and that's where everyone's like. I saw people getting mad about this during season 1. Like they were saying, well, guess what? Like in season 2, like. Like I can't tell you specifically what happens. Like I have a general idea based on what I've seen, but Yeah, I don't know. People were very particular about their Last of Us lore for sure, and for good reason. I mean, fans are passionate about it.
It happens.
Exactly.
It's every medium, wrestling, comics, anything we talk about on here and anybody talks about, like that's just how it is. Everybody has their interpretation of it, and they're gonna live and die by that if they're fans of this stuff.
We know about it as Star Wars fans for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Patrol. So they go out on patrol. Pretty good scene. Obviously we learn a little bit more about Dina. We see their vibe. And we see them. We get introduced to a new type of infected. So again, this is right from the game, I guess. I guess they have different stages. This one's a little bit more human before it becomes a full, transformation. You're a little bit more smart. Your brain's still working. And they are called or referred to as stalkers in the game, apparently, Micah.
And they were on their own a little bit, right? Like they weren't as much with like they were kind of like diverting and doing their own. They were freelancing a little bit for once.
Yeah.
Scary, terrifying. Yeah, they're not the people of Jackson, the fire, anybody out there. They're not ready for evolution of the cordyceps, in my opinion. No matter what, like they're barely ready for the existing threat as it is. Like it's very tenuous. So that's an evolution is a little scary for everybody, and with everything else they got going on with each other.
Yeah, they got a great relationship. We saw it kind of featured. But yeah, still, it's like I mean, I don't know. I feel like if I'm Ellie, I'm done taking like chances, but I think she's just rebellious in her nature, obviously. What do you think about the actress for Ellie so far in season 2? She's getting a little bit of flack on the internets, Micah.
I don't really understand, but that's the thing is I haven't played the game, so I don't know what people's like idea of who this actress was supposed to be is. So I don't have any original idea, and I just think I like Bella Ramsey, so I'm okay with it. Like, I don't think it's an A, like a B.
Yeah, my take on it is that Bella Ramsey was great in Thrones. She was great in season 1. I don't know if I buy the 19-year-old Ellie.
But she's 21.
Bella Ramsey's 21?
No. Bella Ramsey is actually like real life 21.
Wow, that's crazy. But
so she does. I mean, like
I wasn't saying it was
younger.
impossible.
I get that.
I just don't know. I just don't know. Like especially the scene at the party last night, or in the episode, like you were supposed to kind of be drawn into both of them. Like I wasn't really drawn into both. I get it. I get what they were trying to go for, but I don't know. Just felt a little weird. Again, there's a lot of game left, as they say. So don't worry. We'll definitely see. But I was kind of. I'm not going to criticize anyone just because everyone else is criticizing. That's kind of like lame. But I didn't think it was the strongest acting portrayal. Like she's just very moody this episode. That's all I felt like. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess if there's a different vibe that I'm supposed to be getting, which I don't know about, then I would agree. But I don't know exactly, so I'm kind of just stuck with it's Bella Ramsey, and she's kind of just like. Here's what I will give people who have played this game and are loyal to it and have fair complaints about this probably, is that she is kind of just playing Bella Ramsey. Like she's kind of just like I don't know if she's actually playing Ellie faithfully to that character or just kind of being like moody teenage Bella Ramsey like I don't know. Like I don't know.
That's the danger.
That's the thing. Like, I don't like that could be what they have told her to do too. Like they could have told her to just let her cook and do whatever she wants. Kind of seems what they're letting Joel do in this situation as well. But you got Pedro Pascal. Like, of course you're gonna let him like go out here and cook and do what he wants to do with the character. So it's an interesting balance. We'll see.
Interesting balance indeed. We get the patrol scene. So she gets bit again. She goes in front of the council. She hides it. They talk about the stalkers. So there's clearly some alertness. But now we kind of circle back at the end. They got the fireworks, and the cordyceps can sense the fire. Is that what's happening? I was a little confused by that part. Are they sensing the fire? Are they sensing the noise and the activity? Because I see them growing out. Anytime the cordyceps is doing this, it's not good. But
no, not good. It could be the heat. I think it is something with the heat.
I thought it was the heat, but then people were saying it was the noise. I'm like, I was a little confused. I thought it was the heat because the whole thing in the first episode, part 1, is that they would never be able to do it because the heat level would never get achieved.
Mushrooms grow more in heat.
Yes, for sure.
That's just a science. That's a fact. Science fact for you all on training.
Fact. And then for that reason, we have the Horde inbound, obviously. So it looks like this season. Now, do you think that most of what they showed is going to be like next episode? Because I also saw some people split on that. They seem to think that this is happening next episode.
I think it's next episode. I think this episode, in my big picture estimation, a lot of setup for a lot of converging and a lot of the action we're looking for in episode 2. Like this was a lot of like exposition. This was a lot of like this, and then it's gonna be like, but we know what you guys came for after season 1. Like we need some action. So
all right. Obviously, you can call our sponsor, Cellino Plumbing and HVAC, at 716-68-FLUSH. Micah, as a segment on this What's Trainwreck Watching and recurring going forward, do you think fans, before we get into the other episode breakdowns, do you think fans need to rush to watch this one, or could they give it a couple days and maybe? I think. Well, from what you said, if all of that is occurring in episode 2, yeah, you do kind of have to rush. You can't flush this one. Even though it wasn't the greatest episode, I think you got to rush to watch it if all that stuff's happening in episode 2 this Sunday.
Is there anything, though, that's too spoilery that if you saw from this episode, it would ruin your enjoyment of watching it like Sunday right before this came out or Sunday morning or something? I don't know. That's where I would think I might flush it and just I might tell you that you could kind of act like this is a season 1 post episode as much as anything. And
agreed.
This episode coming up next week is the real opener of the season.
Wow.
That's kind of how I'm viewing it, at least, because if it isn't, and here's the thing, is because I didn't really enjoy this episode of television. I thought it was a necessary episode of television if I think I know where they're going with this, but I didn't think it was good per se.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
So they're moving. So what you're saying is we may have seen an episode where they're kind of moving the pieces on the game board into the right spot for the.
And it's bold to do that in episode 1. And you usually don't see a show do that in episode 1, but when you have a property like this, this is a surefire hit season, no matter what. I think, unless it goes terribly, it's going to be pretty well received. So I think slow play it. You get it all set up. Everybody gets the hype. You get the roll in. Everybody's like, oh yeah, Last of Us is back. Season 1 was last week. And then you really come with the heat 2-2.
Last question before we kind of do our wrap up. Who do you think, obviously we see that in coming weeks or in this week's episode, you got a horde coming in the middle of like a blizzard, it looks like. And then you got the Fireflies closing in now on the compound. So after 5 years, it looks like they went to Seattle, right? And now they're back in Jackson, Wyoming, ready to take it. Who do you think Joel should be more worried about? The horde or the Fireflies?
It's a tough question. The weather is if we're talking just like breaking down this game. This is something unique that we bring to Trainwreck Sports. As someone who's lived in Wyoming, I can tell you that winter weather, nasty, not good for anybody. Probably better for the people who have lived in Wyoming, who have lived through it for 5 years. So you got to give advantage, Joel. Home field advantage, huge in this outcome. You got to be worried about the Fireflies, though. The horde, because they're going to be focused in on the horde. He has no idea these Fireflies are coming. Do you think Joel has blocked off memory of these people? He tries not to think about them at all. I know he does all the time, but he has tried to get rid of. So when he sees them, it's gonna be a shock of like a lot of emotions brought back up in one moment, anger and being scared of people. If people don't know what he did. Like, that's the thing. If people don't know anything, if nobody knows the secret of what he did,
I don't think all these
fear of
people are
exposure
just hunky-dory around a guy who like murdered 15 people.
That's what I'm saying. So if Abby comes in and is like, that motherfucker's he ruined my life, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be a tough sell for Joel. So I'd be way more worried about the Fireflies because it's the unknown threat. He's not prepared for that at all. He's been prepared for the horde.
Now they make it happen really quick, but you know who Abby's dad is?
No.
So Abby's dad was the doctor from last season who was performing the operation, who's like, I'm doing this operation no matter what. And he like goes to do it and Joel's just like, nah, pop.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, so that's interesting. Obviously very personal. You killed my father. Now you must die. But also we get Isaac. They have to go to Seattle to meet Isaac, who is played by what's it? He's like a HBO vet.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh man, why am I struggling so bad with this? He was in Westworld. What was he in?
Goggins?
No.
No.
Hold on. What do we got? He played it. He was his voice in the Jeffrey Wright. Fucking Jeffrey Wright.
Jeffrey Wright.
And
Oh, we get
Jeffrey
some
Wright
Wright next
actually
week?
voiced Isaac in the video game. So
What
this
a
is like
legend.
full circle shit right here.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, we got so obviously Jeffrey Wright's not getting off the couch unless he's coming to cook. So
He's putting up.
I think I
putting
got
up
to be a
20
little
at
bit worried
least.
about this Isaac guy as well. I could see. I don't know anything, but if we want to talk about a big name coming in a post-apocalyptic world and making an impact, I could see Isaac having a Negan type effect in this in this show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that worries me. Jeffrey Wright, he can be a scary guy sometimes.
Hell
So,
yeah. All right,
that worries me a
folks.
lot.
The only scarier thing is missing an episode of What's Trainwreck Watching. Always get caught up with us. We are going to have a Sinners recap coming soon, and then we'll continue to get into Tlu and, of course, Andor when that comes back next week. Thanks for tuning with us. Make sure all of your house appliances are tuned up. Thanks to Cellino Plumbing and HVAC. And remember, this is the show where it's not about last week's review. It's not about next week's preview. It's about this week's episode.